So last week we made it clear in our hot topics that pink eye is going around. Now that the infection is making the rounds, we've invited president of the Ophthalmological
Yes.
Society of Jamaica. Too early to say words like that. Dr. Lizette Mowat to share her insights according to our prompter, which is nice. Good morning. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Thank you.
Morning,
Good morning.
Dr. Mowat.
Pleasure to be here.
I can't believe it. Pink eye is
Pink eye
back.
is seasonal.
Pink eye is actually when the eye becomes red because of several different reasons.
I know,
and
but it happens only at a certain time, it
well,
seems. No?
it can be due to infection, which is due to viral or bacterial, or allergies. And if it's due to allergies, that tends to happen seasonally because it's associated with pollen and other things in the air.
So it's like a summer thing.
If it is an allergic kind of conjunctivitis. But typically when we talk about pink eye, we're talking about viral infections which affect the eyes and cause a conjunctivitis. So that tends to be associated with infections such as upper respiratory tract infections. People have coughs and colds and that sort of thing.
Which makes it very contagious.
It is. Pink eye is very contagious, and the thing with pink eye is that you want to make sure that if you do have it, you don't spread it, and if you don't have it, that you make sure you don't get it.
How don't you spread it?
So the key thing, the way it's spread is either by coughing, sneezing droplets. So you want to stay away from anyone who has pink eye. You want to avoid sharing anything such as washcloths, towels, pillows, pillowcases, that sort of thing with anyone who has pink eye. And you also want to make sure you don't share makeup. So like the eyeliners and those things you don't want to share with someone who has pink eye, or eye drops.
Let's talk about the way it presents itself.
Yes. Okay.
Is when it actually becomes red, is that like almost the end stage? Can someone have pink eye and I not know because the eye is still pretty clear until it gets to this point?
Okay, so usually your eye around the brown part is white. So once it starts to turn reddish or pinkish, they call it pink eye. So you will know when you have pink eye.
Okay.
So it can be mild, moderate, or severe pink eye. And if it's just mild, you might just have just a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of grittiness in the eyes. Eyes will feel a little bit dry. You may get some burning, a little bit of photophobia with the lights. And as it gets worse, you find you want to rub your eyes a lot. And this is what we don't want people to do, because as you rub your eyes and you touch something else, you can pass it on to someone else. Because we so easily pick up a pen, or we open a door handle, we touch a surface, and anyone who touches that can always just get it straight into their eyes. So that's why it's so contagious. So when people have pink eye, they need to avoid being in areas where there's a lot of people, such as in schools. If kids have pink eyes, they shouldn't be going to school. Or people who have pink eyes and they work in a busy area, they should not be going to work, should not be going to parties or any of those crowded areas, because that's how you spread pink eye.
If you feel it coming on, can you stop it?
Well, it's usually due to a viral infection. So when you have a cold coming on, you may be able to take things that may reduce the symptoms, but you don't necessarily stop it, and it just runs its course. So it doesn't usually need to be treated, with antibiotics if it's due to viral infections. It will run its course usually about 5 to 7 days.
So you said it doesn't usually need to be treated.
No, not a viral conjunctivitis.
So if you have it, you just leave it.
Yes, and it will just run its course and it will actually go. So there are different types of conjunctivitis, and typically with the viral conjunctivitis, the eye is a little bit watery, a little bit mucousy, and that type of infection doesn't usually need treating. If the eyes have a yellow greenish discharge or it's matted down in the mornings, that's usually a bacterial infection, and that needs to be treated with antibiotics. So if it's a little bit of tearing, a little bit of watering, redness, that tends to run its course.
I hate pink eye. Someone asked me, and I Googled it, if you can have it more than once. And I said, I think the viral one, you definitely can, because you can have a cold more than once.
You can.
Is it the same thing for all the other types?
You can have conjunctivitis repeatedly depending on what the cause is. Yes, you can get, just like you can get a cold several times, you can get pink eye several times. So you want to make sure that you avoid putting yourself in a situation to get pink eye. Yes.
Yeah.
And the suggestion is, if I feel it coming on, I can just go to the pharmacy and just buy something and put some liquor drops and I'm good.
It's not going to stop it. It may just make you feel a little bit better if you use some lubricating drops, but you don't have to use lubricating drops. What is good, if you find that you tend to rub your eyes a lot, you can use what's called cool compresses. So you can take cold water from the fridge, just put on a rag and just close your eyes and just put the rag over the eyes, and it just soothes the eyes. So it stops you from rubbing your eyes.
And the other one, you said you needed antibacterial stuff?
If you have a bacterial infection where you have a yellow-green discharge, or the eyes are matted down when you wake up, those usually need to be treated with antibiotics.
That need Doctor.
That would mean, yes, if it doesn't settle within 2 or 3 days, it would be worthwhile going to the doctor to get something.
Just a myth for me, Doc.
Yes,
There are people that I will see with the pink eye,
yes,
and they're up and about in public.
Yes.
They've come back to work. They're at places of entertainment, and you say, "Is that pink eye?" And they say, "Yeah, but it's a last phase, so you can't catch it." And I'm always like, I think once you have it, I can catch it.
usually once they have all the symptoms of the redness, the grittiness, and the tearing, it tends to be in the contagious phase. After about 3-5 days of having it and it's starting to get better, it's not as red, then it doesn't become as contagious.
But there's still a possibility.
There still is a risk. Just as if you have a cold and you're coming off the end of the cold, you can still spread it.
So stay.
I would actually stay away from public places or stay at, where you're not able to transfer it to other people until it has settled
What
down.
else comes with it? Do you get an eye ache, a headache? What else comes with it? Or is just...
You don't typically get a headache, but because it's associated with nasal problems, a cough and cold, you can get a stuffiness, okay, you can get sneezing, that sort of thing of an upper respiratory tract infection. That's what usually happens with it. Your vision may be a little bit blurred if the eyes are a bit mucousy or there's some tearing. It can make the vision a little bit blurred. But usually it's just something that affects the eyes and just the nasal passages or respiratory tract.
And in the scheme of things, how serious is this? Any long-term damage can come from this?
So the good thing with pink eye, just a viral conjunctivitis, it usually does not cause any problems if it's due to things like an adenovirus. If it's due to other viruses which are not that common, such as a herpes virus, you can get other complications. So if you find that it is not settling down after a few days or it's getting worse, it is worthwhile seeing your eye doctor about it, because it could be something else and not just the usual adenoviral.
For the children,
conjunctivitis.
it's summer.
Yes.
Pink eye or not, they want to run up and down outside, and they want to come in contact with other kids.
They
As
do.
a parent, what are some of the precautions that you can take so that it doesn't spread, but that the child still has some amount of freedom?
Right. So it's important that anyone who has it, or if you're, whether you have pink eye or not, if you're coughing or sneezing, you must cover your nose, okay? The other key thing is that you want to wash your hands frequently, because this is actually spread by contact. And you also want to sanitize the surfaces, like door handles. If you have someone who does have it in the house, you might want to clean the surfaces on a regular basis to make sure it's not spread. So you really want to avoid coming in contact with people who have it, or reducing the chances of getting it by hygienic mannerisms such as hand washing and just cleaning. You can use hand sanitizers, but it's always good to wash your hands with soap. That's probably the ideal way of hand washing.
What about lactating mothers who are breastfeeding? If they have it, is there a possibility that contact with the child may pass it on as well?
The thing with the viral conjunctivitis is if you do have something in your system, there's always a way that it can pass through. I wouldn't
More
say
so
that
by
it
the
will go
touching.
through the breast milk. It will actually go more for contact. And even when you're talking, sometimes you have saliva coming out. So if you have someone in close contact with you, they're at risk of that.
Okay.
So it's just really close contact.
Okay. Thanks for coming down.
Okay,
Good
thank
stuff.
you.
You know your stuff. Let's see if I can pronounce that word again. President of the Ophthalmological Society of Jamaica.
That's perfect.
Oh, thank you very much,
All
Dr.
right.
Lizette Mowat. I just know it. 10 minutes to your health. We'll do it again next Thursday. Hopefully I don't have to say that word again.